Avengers Doomsday is going to be out in the near future, and Marvel just nuked the entire Kang storyline and now throwing everything they've got at Avengers Doomsday. Now, they're dragging Robert Downey Jr. back from the dead, basically turning Chris Evans into a Nazi, a Hydra version of Captain America, and trying to cram every character they ever killed into Avengers Doomsday. Now, this is not just hype, it's a meltdown in real time, and I'm going to let you all know right now, I knew this stuff was going to happen, okay? And if you think that Avengers Doomsday is going to fix the MCU, well, wait until you hear what they are actually planning to do or have they planned for Avengers Doomsday. Now, basically, they're going ahead and just yanking Robert Downey Jr. back from the dead like that's going to fix everything. I mean, not as Iron Man, or maybe not just as Iron Man. It actually might make sense, but they're bringing him back as Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday, as you all know. Robert Downey Jr., the face of the MCU, the guy who carried the first 3 phases on his back, is now going to be the villain in Avengers Doomsday. You all already know that. That's not bold. That's not exciting. It's tone deaf and desperation and stuff. And it's basically Marvel saying, please care about us, can come back, while offering absolutely nothing that actually feels like original Marvel stuff or earned in, for Avengers Doomsday. And don't even get me started on the pathetic lead up to this mess. You've got the Thunderbolts, which nobody cares about. No one. The box office buzz is already melting down before the trailer even drops. I've been getting comments from left and right saying I got a bad take on the film. And then there's also Fantastic Four, which has been rebooted more times than your grandmother's Windows PC and still can't get it right. That's their foundation right there. That's their whole big setup before Avengers Doomsday. You can actually smell the desperation from here, and Avengers Doomsday is clearly just the final Hail Mary at this point. But it gets even dumber because I'm not even finished. Now, there's also leaks about, from some sort of shady Reddit thread where they're talking about, as you all heard about this already, Chris Claremont, the legendary X-Men writer, basically dropping spoilers like, it's no big deal at some random Comic-Con over in Huntsville, okay? So he just starts naming basically major plot points and returning characters like he's actually reading a shopping list. There's apparently that there might not be an NDA disclosure or anything. No studio rep slapping that mic out of his hand and stuff. He's just simply letting it all rip. I mean, it was wild. But at the same time, Claremont says that, Robert Downey Jr. isn't just playing Doom. He's playing multiple characters, multiverse versions of himself, like evil Tony Stark, insufferable fan service all over again. It's like they looked at Spider-Man No Way Home and basically said, yeah, let's run that into the ground too. So you want nostalgia? Here, have all of it. Have it all sloppily thrown at you without rhyme or even reason, okay? Now, it's not a movie. It's basically a corporate meltdown building up to Avengers Doomsday. All right. And if that also wasn't enough cringe for one day, Claremont also dropped that, Chris Evans will be returning as Captain America, but not as Captain America. It's basically Captain Hydra, as I think. But yeah, we all remember that from the stupid storyline from the comics and stuff where he was secretly, a Yahtzee the whole time working for Hydra. The one that everyone hated. And Marvel looked at that and said, yeah, let's do that, but in the movie that this time. And thinking that, it's gonna sell, but spoiler, it won't. That idea already got destroyed in the comics and stuff. You really want to tank one of the few characters people actually still care about, and this isn't storytelling. It isn't even creativity on the part of Kevin Feige, okay? This is just basically vomiting IP onto the screen and hoping you'll cheer because the actors are familiar. And when does it say that your solution to collapsing hype is to Frankenstein the same 6 actors into every single role? Captain America, Iron Man, Scarlet Witch, just throw them all in there playing 5 different versions of themselves. It's pathetic, and it's all heading straight for Avengers Doomsday. Speaking of Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen apparently is also coming back for Avengers Doomsday, or maybe even Secret Wars. But after a giant rock literally crushed her in Multiverse of Madness, she's now returning as good Scarlet Witch. I mean, I figured that might happen anyway because, sure, death doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters. Actions have no consequences. She basically wipes out an entire town and gets a redemption arc because Marvel needs content. Nothing screams strong writing like retconning your own finales in time for Avengers Doomsday. Okay. Oh, and also that's not it. That's not all right there. You see, we're hearing also that Phoenix is back as well. Femke Janssen, yes, she's returning as Jean Grey's Phoenix. Now, she wasn't necessarily obliterated like the 3 reboots ago. But at the same time, Marvel's plan is literally to throw every dead character, every multiverse doppelganger, every, sidekick, villain, anti-hero, or background extra into this blender and hit puree. But basically, as far as the whole, Phoenix is concerned and stuff, or Jean Grey, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing her coming back. I mean, after all, it might have been from a different, multiverse or whatever, kind of like what they alluded to Deadpool and Wolverine and stuff. I mean, but at the same time, what they're putting out, that's not a multiverse. That's just basically a dumpster fire with CG all culminating in this whole movie. Now, Claremont also mentioned that, Psylocke, as you all know, but not Asian Psylocke, which, I mean, maybe it's a recast, maybe it's something else. But the fact that, even the ethnicity of characters is being randomly reshuffled without explanation tells you exactly how little they actually care about this opportunity. And it's also like a corporate meeting room full of executives just basically spinning a wheel labeled gender swap, race swap, kill off, bring back. I mean, they're faking creativity just to keep this movie from crashing before it even begins, okay? And as you all can suspect, I mean, you can tell, Wolverine's back too. He's apparently going to kill someone very important. I mean, that's just the quote right there. No context, just very important. That's the kind of writing you get when the only idea left in the tank is basically shock value. Now, Wolverine kills a fan favorite and stuff. We don't know who it is. What's next? Hulk drowns a puppy. Absolute insufferable nonsense. But more meaningless mayhem for Avengers Doomsday. But you know what? You know what Claremont actually said? Why not just make this the first X-Men movie? I mean, that's what he said and stuff. And you know what? I mean, he could have a point. This should be the reboot according to them, but stop pretending Avengers Doomsday is still the backbone of the MCU, because guess what? It's not. That era is dead. Endgame ended it. And you're not topping that. It's just basically just try to move on and build something new. But nah, they're stuck. I mean, stuck chasing nostalgia like a junkie chasing for their next fix. That's long gone. And Avengers Doomsday is a monument to that failure. And as far as, the Fantastic Four concerned, I mean, he name drops them like they actually matter, okay? They don't. No one's emotionally invested in this next reboot. I mean, it's not even 2005 anymore. That well is just dry, basically, okay? And if Marvel was clinging to that big idea that, big names and iconic teams are enough to carry movies, well, guess what? They're not. It's without any real writing. Not a story that makes you care, just existing enough not even in Avengers Doomsday. But gotta go ahead and go back to Chris Evans again, talking about that, where he's playing 4 different versions of himself. Now you got Evil Cap, Young Cap, Cap Hydra, Cap whatever. You just not being creative at all. Basically, right there, that's lazy. You're leeching off emotional attachments that people had a completely different story arc, and it's manipulative at this point. And even worse, it cheapens everything those characters used to mean. I mean, it's why Avengers Doomsday feels like a parody of itself instead of a big payoff, okay? Now, another thing to consider is that Marvel thinks that bringing back Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans will actually save them. Guess what? It won't. You see, because now you're messing with the emotional core of the whole franchise itself. You're dragging these guys back not for the story, but for clicks, for buzz, for money. I mean, it's just a cash grab at this point, wrapped in a nostalgia blanket. Nothing more, and all of it feeding the bloated corpse that is this movie. Now, Chris Claremont may have just, I mean, done us all a favor by exposing this early. Now we know what's coming. And if you thought, Marvel was a soulless and formulaic before, wait until Avengers Doomsday hit. Wait until, you see RDJ mugging as three different multiverse clowns like Captain Hydra punches himself in the face. This is what the MCU has become, a bloated parody of itself. Avengers Doomsday is indeed the final proof of that. But bottom line, I mean, there's no hype for Avengers Doomsday because guess what? People are done being manipulated, done being pretending that this is still peak pop culture, done pretending Marvel has any idea what it's doing. The only thing Avengers Doomsday is going to bring to this box office is embarrassment. And this is the end, basically the real Doomsday for Marvel. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notifications for future uploads, smash the like button in this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.